Mangaru's Tutoring Services, Mathematics Classes.
Average or mean. Exercise 1. Find the average. In order for us to find the average, we must add the numbers and then divide by the amount of numbers. So let's begin by adding. 1 plus 5 plus 9 plus 12 plus 3 plus 6. 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 plus 9 is 15, 16, 17, 20, 26. 2 plus 1 is 3. So the total is 36. How many numbers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So we must divide the total by the amount of numbers. 36 divided by 6 is 6. So the average is 6. Number 2. Let's add the numbers. 5 plus 22 plus 23 plus 3 plus 2. 5 plus 2 is 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. So we keep the 5 and we carry over the 1. 1 plus 2 plus 2 is 5. So the total is 55, and we must now divide by the amount of numbers. So let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So 55 divided by 5, so the average is equal to 11. Number 3. Let's add. 20 plus 16 plus 9 plus 7 plus 12 plus 8 plus 13 plus 11. 6 plus 9 is 15. 15 plus 7 is 22. It's 24. 32 plus 4 is 36. So we will keep the 6 and carry over the 3. So this is 6 plus 3 is 9. So the total is 96. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. So 96 divided by 8, and this is equal to 12. So the average is 12. Number 4. (27) plus 36 plus 33 plus 30 plus 18 plus 42, 21, 50 and 31. 7 plus 6 is 13, plus 3 is 16, 16 plus 10 is 26, plus 2 is 28. So we will keep the 8 and carry over the 2. So this is 4 plus 9 is 13, 14, 18, 20, 28. So the total is 288. Divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 into 9 is 1. 9 into 28 is 3. Remainder 1. 9 into 18 is 2. So the average is 32. Number 5. (49) plus 42 plus 21, 22, 41, 33, and 30. 9 plus 2 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18. Keep the 8, carry over the 1, so that's 5 and 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 plus 4, 17, 17 plus 6, 23. So the total is 238. (238) divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's divide. 7 into 7 is 1. 7 into 23 is 3. Remainder 2. 7 into 28 is 4. So the average is 34. Exercise 2. Find the total given the mean and the amount of numbers. How do we find the total? We find the total by simply multiplying the mean by the amount of numbers. So here we are given that the mean is 20 for 6 numbers. So let's multiply 20 times 6. So we know that 2 6s are 12, and if there's a 0 at the end, we simply add the 0. So the total is 120. Number 2. The mean of 5 numbers is 22. So 22 times 5. 5 2s are 10, keep the 0, carry over the 1. 2 5s are 10, plus 1 is 11. So the total is 110. Number 3. The mean of 12 numbers is 26. So let's multiply 26 times 12. We will begin by multiplying by the ones number. 2 times 6 is 12. Keep the 2, carry over the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Now we will multiply by the tens number. We must put a 0 before we begin. 1 times 6 is 6, and 1 times 2 is 2. So the answer is 2 plus 0 is 2. 5 plus 6 is 11. Keep the 1, carry over the other 1, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So the total is 312. Number 4. The mean of 13 numbers is 25. So let's find the product of those two numbers. So we are going to continue by multiplying by the ones number than the tens number. So 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Now we multiply by the tens number. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. So the total or sum is 325. Number 5. The mean of 15 numbers is 16. Five times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. Multiplying by the tens number. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Let's add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 6 is 14. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So the total is 240. Exercise 3. 8 friends have marbles as shown. Find how many Keith has if the total is 96. So let's add these numbers to find the total without Keith's amount. $20 plus 16 plus 9 plus 7 plus 12 plus 8 plus 13. Six plus 9 is 15. 15 plus 7 is 22. 22 plus 8 is 30. 32, 35. So we must carry across the 3. 3 plus 3 is 6, 7, 8. So the total without Keith's amount is 85. With Keith's amount, the total is 96. So we will take the total with Keith's amount and subtract the total without his amount to find how much Keith has. 6 take away 5 is 1. 9 take away 8 is 1. So Keith has 11 marbles. Number 2. The following group of friends had marbles as shown. What is the average amount of marbles per person? So let's find the total and then divide by the amount of numbers. One plus 5 plus 9 plus 12 plus 3 plus 6. Nine plus 1 is 10, plus 5 is 15. 15 plus 5 is 20. 26. Keep the 6, carry over the 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, so the total is 36. And how many numbers or persons do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 36 divided by 6 is equal to 6. So the average for A is 6. 6 marbles. B. Ken joined the group and their average increased by 1. So it means that the new average is equal to 6 plus 1 is 7. And Ken joined the group, so now we have 6 plus 1, we have 7 persons. So the amount of numbers is now equal to 7. So how do we find the new total? The mean multiplied by the amount of numbers, which is equal to 49. So with Ken we have 49 marbles, without Ken we have 36 marbles. So 49 take away 36 will give us Ken's amount. So Ken has 13 marbles. Number 3. A group of 9 friends have an average of 32 sweets. How many do they have all together? So let's make some space here. So remember that we can find the total when given the mean and the amount of numbers by simply multiplying them. So 32, which is the mean, times the amount of numbers, 9. 9 twos are 18. 3 nines are 27 plus 1 is 28. So they have a total of 288 sweets. That's for part A. Part B, they are joined by another friend, but the average remains the same. How many sweets does the new friend contribute? So if we add another number and the average remains the same, it means that the new or the added number is the same as the mean. So for part B, the answer will be 32. 32 sweets. So let me explain what I mean in part B. If we have 3 numbers, 6, 7, and 8, to find the average we simply add the numbers. 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 plus 8 is equal to 21. And then we divide by the amount of numbers, which is 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. The only way the average will remain 7 if we add one more number is by adding the same average. So if we have 6, 7, and 8, we can only add the average, which is 7, to get back the same average. So let's check and see. 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 plus 8 is 21. 21 plus 7 is 28. And we have 4 numbers. 28 divided by 4 will also give us the same mean. There is no other number that we can add here that will give us the same mean as before. number 4. Let's make some space to work this out. The mean number of marbles that 5 boys had to play a game was 18. John decided he is not playing anymore, and the mean of the remaining players was increased by 2. How many marbles did John have? So when we have a new number being added or a number being subtracted, where the mean is changing, we normally are required to find the total before the new number is introduced and after the new number is introduced. So I will explain what I mean. The first line tells us that the mean number of marbles that 5 boys had to play a game was 18. So let's find the total for the 5 boys. So 5 times 18, average times the amount of numbers. Five eights are 40. 1 times 5 is 5 plus 4 is 9. So the total for the 5 boys is equal to 90. They went on to tell us that John decided he is not playing anymore and the mean increased by 2. So from 5 boys we now have 4 boys. The mean increased by 2, so it went from 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. So let's find the total for the 4 boys. So John left and we now have 4 boys. So we must multiply the mean by the amount of numbers. So the mean increased by 2, 18 plus 2 is 20. So 20 is the mean for the 4 boys. So if we multiply this, we will get the total for the 4 boys. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. So without John, we have a total of 80. And with John, we have a total of 90 marbles. So all we must do is simply subtract in order to find John's amount. 90 minus 80 is 10. So John has 10 marbles. The total of 7 numbers is 96. 2 identical numbers were added, which caused the total of the combined numbers to be 120. What is the value of one of the added numbers? So we have the total of 7 numbers. 2 numbers was added, so 7 plus 2 is 9, so that's 9 numbers. And the new total is 120 for the 9 numbers. So let's make note of that. So we have a total for the 9 numbers, which is equal to 120, and we have the total for the 7 numbers, which is equal to 96. We need to find the 2 numbers, meaning the 8th and the 9th number, before we can find one of the numbers. So we know that the 8th and the 9th number, those 2 numbers are identical. So let's subtract. Ten minus 6 is 4. 11 minus 9 is 2. So the 8th number plus the 9th number is equal to 24, but the 8 and the 9 numbers are identical. So if we divide 24 by 2, we will get 12. So each of the numbers are 12. So the value of one of the added numbers is 12. The average of 27 and 31 is the same as the average of 25 and x. What is the value of x? So let's begin by finding the average of 27 and 31. 27 plus 31 is 58. 25 and some number must also give you a total of 58. So if we have the same amount of numbers in the both sets and the average is the same, then the total will also be the same. So I will explain that as we go on. So we have 25 plus some number supposed to give you an average of 58. So that number, they also call it x. So let's find x. We can simply say 58 minus 25 to find x. 8 minus 5 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. So we just determined what is the value of x. So let me explain. The first set, the total is 58, and the second set, the total is 58. The first set has, or is comprised of two numbers, so if we divide by 2, we will get 2 into 5 is 2, remainder 1, 2 into 18 is 9. So the average for the first set is 29. If we divide the next set by 2, 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 5 is 2, remainder 1, 2 into 18 is 9. So the only way we can get an average of 29, or the only number rather we can get when dividing by 2 is 29. If we divide by 2, we will always get 29. So once we are dividing by the same number, the average will be the same. And if the average is the same, then the total will also be the same. So if the average is 29, for two numbers, it can only be a total of 58, which is the same for both of them. So two numbers having the same average will always give you the same total. So that's why we could have used the total to find x. Let's look at number 2. The mean of 32 and x is the same as the mean of 30, 21, and 42. So this time we have two numbers having an average, and now we have three numbers having an average. So two numbers having an average and three numbers having an average would give you a different total as compared to this. If we have two pairs of two numbers, their average will be the same and their total will be the same. But this one, the average will be the same, but the total would be different. So we must work this one differently. The mean of 32 and x is the same as the mean of 30, 21, and 42. So let's begin by finding the total for 30, 21, and 42 before we can find the average. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. So 93 is the total divided by the amount of numbers, which is 3, will give us an average of 31. So the average of the three numbers is 31, which is also the average of these two numbers. So 32 plus x divided by 2, because we must divide by 2 because there are two numbers, will give you an average of 31. So if we have two numbers being added and then we're dividing by 2, we must work backwards. Some persons say reverse or do the opposite operation. So we're going to multiply 31 by 2. So 31 times 2 will give us 62, and then we do the opposite of this as well. We are adding 32, so we must subtract 32. So 62 minus 32 is equal to 30. So what I will do now is I will do a simpler calculation or a simpler example to explain why we did those two steps, multiply and then subtract. So let's say we have 4 plus some number divided by 2 is equal to 3. Right? I choose these small numbers. Because we can work it out mentally. So we know that the number that's supposed to be in this box is 2, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. So if we say 2 times 3, we will get 6, and if we say 6 take away 4, we will get 2, which is this number here. So we simply reverse the operation. This is divided by 2, this means divide by 2, so we multiply by 2. This is add 4, so we subtract 4. Exercise 6, number 1. Tom's subjects are each marked out of 100. Tom's average score in 4 subjects is 82. What is the least number of marks he must score in his 5th subject to have an average to be placed in grade A? So above we can see that grade A is 85% to 100%. So they are asking what is the least number of marks he must score. So the lowest he can get to get in grade A is 85%. So let's determine what total he needs to get 85%. So far he scored 82 in his 4 subjects, 82 average in 4 subjects. So let's determine the total for the 4 subjects. So average multiplied by the amount of numbers. 4 2s are 8, 4 8s are 32. So far in his 4 subjects he has a total of 328. What is the total he needs for his 5 subjects? He needs an average of 85 for the 5 subjects, so that can give us a total. 5 5s are 25, so he needs a minimum of 85%. 5 5s are 25, 5 8s are 40 plus 2 is 42. So he needs a total of at least 425. Presently he only has 328. So if we subtract, we'll be able to determine how much he needs in his 5th subject. Fifteen take away 8 is 7. 11 take away 2 is 9. 3 take away 3 is 0. So he needs 97% in his 5th subject.
Thank you for watching. If you have found this video to be helpful, please feel free to contact us for more information about our classes.